Two of Madison's largest health systems are drawing back their mask mandates at some locations. UW Health and UnityPoint Meriter are still recommending that people wear masks, and there will still be some parts of the hospital where people will need to mask up. The mandates for both hospitals will go away at clinics and outpatient locations, as well as in places like entrances and hallways at the hospitals. Parts of the hospital with high-risk patients like transplant centers and intensive care units will still require masks. You can find more information on UW Health and UnityPoint's websites.